Biyodchu levad. Hineni biyodchu, biyodchu levad. Kach omer biyad hayotzai. Ay ve'im gam mesamayt be'yatzois v'sach bilois v'sach bilois. Chol yosh v'say v'yam dilimini lehoshayni v'lismoy nafshi. Mi balad yischu v'yezrostu. Ein ezru v'yeshiu. Ein ezru v'yeshiu.
No, you can have it. Thank you so much.
Hayri boilu mim yudati. Ki ineni beyotchu levad. Ki ineni beyotchu levad. Kach omer biyad hayotzai. No hoy ve'im gam esamayt be'yatzois v'sach bilois v'savavach bilois. V'chol yosh v'say v'yam dilimini hoshayni v'lismoch nafshi. Mi balad yischu v'yezrostu. Ein ezru v'yeshiu. Ein ezru v'yeshiu. Oilo mem yudati. Hineni beyatchu levad. Hineni beyatchu levad. Kach omer biyad hayotzai. Ay ve'im gam lesamayt be'yatzois v'sach bilois B'chol yosh v'say v'yam dilimini loshayni v'lismoch nafshi. Mi balad yischu v'yezrostu. Ein ezru v'yeshiu. Ein ezru v'yeshiu. Hayri boilu mim yudati. Ki ineni beyotchu levad. Ki ineni beyotchu levad. Kach omer biyad hayotzai. Oy ve'im gam esamayt be'yatzois v'sach bilois v'savavach bilois. V'chol yosh v'say v'yam dilimini hoshayni v'lismoch nafshi. Mi balad yischu v'yezrostu. Ein ezru v'yeshiu. Ein ezru v'yeshiu.
We will begin the program in approximately 3 minutes. Please find your seats.
Please find your seats. The program is about to begin. Birshus Harabonim Rosh Yeshiva, Board of Directors, honored guests, family, and friends. My name is Sruli Deutsch, and I am thrilled to welcome you to the 99th annual dinner of Yeshiva and Masifta Torah Vodaath. I'd like to begin by saying thank you. Thank you to all of you, our wonderful friends, Talmidim and Taimchim, who have seen fit to grace the yeshiva with your presence and support at tonight's dinner. Our yeshiva has touched the lives of so many that it would be difficult to find a frum community anywhere in the world that has not been influenced by the hashkafos and the limud haTorah of our beloved yeshiva. We are proud to report that Baruch Hashem, the yeshiva is strong and continues to grow. Tonight, we celebrate 99 years of contribution to Yiddishkeit, and we embark on the path toward the celebration of the yeshiva's centennial next year, Be'ezras Hashem. We have a special program for you tonight. The yeshiva is paying tribute and showing hakaras hatov to the Rosh Yeshiva, Moreinu v'Rabbeinu Harav Agon Rav Savitsky Shlita, for a quarter century of Harbatzas HaTorah in the yeshiva at the highest level. Some of the Rosh Yeshiva's closest Talmidim will have the opportunity to share their feelings about this giant of the Torah world who is in our midst. Additionally, we are honoring the classes of 1993 and 1968, each of which will be represented by a cohort of their members. The name of Rav Aaron Brown, Zechrono Livracha, is synonymous with the yeshiva's success. And we are privileged tonight to be able to remember him and his devotion to the yeshiva. Tonight as well, we will honor the memory and celebrate the life of Rabbi Yoina Meir ben Reb Chaim Alexander Ziskin Blumenfrucht Zechrono Livracha, my dear Uncle Yoini, in whose zechus we will be naming the Mechina, the yeshiva's middle school, as Mechina Or Yoina. We will begin tonight's program with the class of 1993. The class has many wonderful alumni, each of whom fulfills their role as a small but prominent point of light in the torch that makes up Klal Yisrael. Representing the class of 1993 tonight are the Honorable and Mrs. Isaac Ackerman, Rabbi and Mrs. Aaron Eichhorn, Mr. and Mrs. Ephraim Rosenberg, as well as Journal Chairman Rabbi Tzvi Danziger, and Rabbi and Mrs. Shimon Friedman. Please turn your attention to the video screens for a presentation about the class of 1993. If you look around the world, not just the United States, but if you look around the world, you'll find that there are Torah Vodaath alumni at every level of Yiddishkeit. You have Rabbanim and Rosh Yeshiva, lay people who are leaders in Klal Yisrael. You have Talmidei Chachamim who are Chashav Balabatim. You have people who are raising their families, ala Torah v'ala avoda, and Torah Vodaath really has seeded Klal Yisrael with all these wonderful people.
The people that are giving shiurim, the people that are writing svarim, the people that are establishing yeshivas, the people that are heading koilulim, the balabatim that are spending time, giving their time and resources to ensure the yeshiva's success, people that are involved in all kinds of good things for Klal Yisrael. That is the typical message of a Torah Vodaath Talmud and a Torah Vodaath alumnus.
So make it that cut. Yeah, when the get comes from Chutzlar.
My chaverim, we were a very normal group. We learned hard, davened hard, we played ball hard, we went to camp. Very normal American boys, but I think what brought us closest together was our experience in yeshiva, the learning, the chavrusashafts that we had. A lot of the guys, the chavrusashafts that we had back then, people continue until this day. I myself continue to learn with Oshi Edelstein, who I learned with in yeshiva 25 years ago.
Yeshiva Torah Vodaath is full of a legacy of Torah, of godless Torah, not just Torah, godless Torah. And Shraga Feivel Mendelovich, he always wanted godless. He always wanted the Geoinim, the Shlomo Hayman, the Bruven, the Rivkin, all the Groise Gedolim that were Rosh Yeshivas and Torah Vodaath. This was all that seeped into the walls of Torah Vodaath. It seeped into all the Bachrim, Avada. You have to do Chesed. But Torah was on a pedestal. Torah was put that chashivas for Torah, Rav Pam Zatzal, and the Gedolim, and even Ubadim Chaim Rav Savitsky is the chmamish, the lomdus and the share that he's giving. It's huge. It's godless.
What should the Gemara say? In terms of what's passion, she has to understand.
Mayor Isaac Ackerman helps us out so much. As a close friend, we were in yeshiva together. This besmedrsh that we're sitting in over here is because he stuck out his neck to be able to make sure that Mesifta Or Chameh could get a CFO. This is really what the Shraga Feivel Mendelov, Zeichet Tzaddik V'Kadosh Baruch Hu, that would be so proud. Two Talmidim, one is being Marbetz Torah, and the other one is just helping him in every way he needs to get helped.
I always felt this drive to be involved and to help people out. And there was an opportunity. There was a 30-year sitting committeeman who was retiring, and I put my name in to run for office, and I won my election.
That card that they give me.
It's a huge responsibility. People call with almost any type of issue and request, from federal issues to local, state, county, and people rely on you. I don't have to think of the fact that I'm an alumnus of Torah Vodaath. There's so much that I gained from my years in Torah Vodaath that guide me through life. I think all the time that a lot of my actions and a lot of the good things that I do in life are because of the positive influences that I had in Torah Vodaath.
I have one son, Usher Anshel Rosenberg. He was born, there was no question, after 4 girls, what yeshiva he was going to go to. I wanted him to go exactly where I went to, which was Torah Vodaath. Full of energy, I love going there. Every time I go there, the Rabbi are absolutely fantastic. The Rabbi, Rabbi Sabo, the principal, the whole atmosphere is full of energy, it's electric. I never knew if Torah Vodaath is Hasidish or Litvish, regardless. Everyone what's there has a common goal and everybody feels comfortable. It's a welcoming environment. It's been like that 25 years ago and it's still that today.
I once heard that on the door or the gate to Lublin, they had the pasuk, L'chu banim shemuli yiras Hashem alamedchem. So one of the Talmidim asked Meir Shapiro, why does it say L'chu banim shemuli on the door? There should be a pasuk. There's no lack of psukim that start with bayu or something of the sort. And he said that the purpose of yeshiva is to prepare the Talmidim for life, for when we go out. So that's why he put the pasuk, L'chu banim shemuli. And I really feel that I got that from Torah Vodaath in so many different ways.
So we're approaching 100 years now, and Baruch Hashem, the yeshiva is very strong, and the yeshiva is continuing to grow. Isaac Ackerman joined Torah Vodaath as a 5th grade Talmud and stayed on until he went to Eretz Yisrael to learn after first year Beis Medrash. Upon returning from Eretz Yisrael, he settled in Lakewood. Although he possesses a soft-spoken demeanor, Isaac has earned a stellar reputation as a prominent Asken in Lakewood. As you've just heard, he is a long-standing member of the Township Council and is the former mayor of Lakewood. Both of these positions have provided him with innumerable opportunities to perform chesed and give to others. With an imperturbable kviyas itim and yiras shamayim guiding their every step, Isaac and his wife embody the lessons of countless Torah Vodaath Rabbeim. Our yeshiva is proud to honor them as representatives of the class of 1993. Rabbi Isaac, please make your way to the podium to accept your honor. Rabbi Aaron Eichhorn has Torah Vodaath and Harbotzas HaTorah in his blood. His grandfather was a Talmud of Rab Shlomo Hyman Zatzal and was subsequently a Marbitz Torah in the yeshiva. Reb Aaron himself is a 3rd generation Talmud. The Eichhorns spent 10 productive years in the Atlanta community as role models and Marbitzei Torah. Currently, they reside in Muncie, where they continue to give of themselves to the community and raise their children v'derech haTorah v'yiras shamayim. The Eichhorns personify the Torah Vodaath ideal of taking responsibility for your fellow man. I am pleased to ask Reb Aaron Eichhorn to join me at the podium and accept his honor as a representative of the class of 1993.
Yaakov, we got you back.
I now have the privilege of speaking about Mr. and Mrs. Ephraim Rosenberg. My wife and I are lucky to call them our neighbors during the summer. It would be difficult to find a sweeter couple. They perform an impressive amount of Gemilas Chasadim, but truly their trademark is Hatznei Aleches. Rabbi Ephraim is an accomplished Talmid Chacham, and their children are raised with the highest ideals of Yiddishkeit. Additionally, recently, Effie has gained a reputation as an astute businessman, which he has parlayed into a thriving consultancy business, which is really just a front for his chesed projects. With great pleasure, I ask Rabbi Ephraim to join us at the podium to accept his honor as a representative of the class of 1993. Rabbi Pinchas Rosenberg, please join us at the podium.
Step down a little bit.
Harav Shimon Friedman Shlita and his wife both stam from families with very strong connections to Yeshiva Torah Vodaath. The Friedman family and the Stein-Hassenfeld families have made their mark on the Torah Vodaath community and on the greater Torah world in the tri-state area. Building on their example, Rab Shimon and his wife have chosen to pursue a path of Harbatzas HaTorah, and he has founded a yeshiva in Lakewood, named after his grandfather, in which he is the popular and successful 9th grade Rabbi, as you saw earlier. We also have the opportunity tonight to wish Rab Shimon and his mishpacha a Harzig and Mazel Tov upon the recent birth of a baby boy, who he is scheduled to be machnes lebrisoi shel Avram Avinu be'ezras Hashem tomorrow morning. It is an honor for Rab Shimon and his family that his alma mater, Yeshiva Torah Vodaath, has chosen him to represent his graduating class by giving an address tonight on their behalf. I ask Rab Shimon to come up and accept his honor and then to address the assembled. Rav Naftula Friedman and Rav Nuchem Stein, please join us at the podium. And Rav Matis Friedman as well.
This way. Of course, where is he? Over there. Oh, he's over here. Good. Shine. All right. Shine, you can. Let's see that address. 6075.
Over here.
Bereshus, the Rosh Yeshiva Shlita, Avi Meirim, Meiri Chami, the whole Anholas, Yeshiva Mesifta Vodaath, all the Talmidei, alumni Mesifta Vodaath, the Chol HaKol HaKodesh Hazeh. When Rabbi Gadiner came over and he told me about a story about a different honoree that was Zoiche on to go Lag BaOmer to Eretz Yisrael, and he was Zoiche to have an einikel on the night of the dinner, and he had to be in Eretz Yisrael. And I was thinking to myself, what are the odds? Baruch Hashem, people come over to me and say, oh, the night before the bris, you have to go and be there by the Vachnacht. I say, just the opposite. My parents have always instilled in us, and my Shver and Schwiger, and my grandmother, Bobby Friedman, the Zayin Gesund and Stark, is with us, with the yeshiva, with the chinuch of Torah Vodaath, that Adarabah, because you're machzik Torah, and because you give for the Makom Torah, as I'm moirdig Makom Torah, that's why you're Zoiche to the bracha, that we will Zoiche Met Hashem tomorrow morning to be able to make a bris, Lachnisa bebrisa shel Rama Vrinu be'ezras Hashem. And that is the thank you to all the Torah Vodaath and all our parents. We are gathered here tonight to be mechazik each other and to recognize and appreciate what Yeshiva Mesifta Torah Vodaath has done for each of us, and for Klal Yisrael for a century of unique chinuch. Torah Vodaath makes their annual dinner in Yemei HaSfira every year. And we can ask why. And nothing is a coincidence, as we know from tonight. The answer might be, and you can check it up yourself, we know that Rabbi Gedalia Shor, Rabbi Meir Shapiro said, one of the greatest minds in America, he used to have a chavrusashaft with Rabbi Shaga Feivel Mendelombush with Tzvas Emes. And in the Tzvas Emes, you can check it up yourself in Parshas Boy, Tov Reish Mem Aleph, Zok the Tzvas Emes, that after Pesach and on Yemei HaSfira, a person can be Zoiche to be Mekabel Torah Vodaath on Shavuos. So, Metz Hashem, with the Yesodis of this dinner, of giving for Torah Vodaath, we, Metz Hashem, will be Mekabel on this Shavuos to be Mechazik the Torah, and the Torah will, Metz Hashem, give us. And that could probably be what's pshat, why would they make the dinner for many, many years in Yemei HaSfira. Our Rosh Yeshivas have taught us that it's not enough just to be makir toiv. Not enough just to have hakoras hatoiv. Hakoras hatoiv is beautiful to recognize the good that Torah Vodaath has done for us. But we have to do something lemaisa. We have to make a recognition and a something maisim toivim to be able to show our appreciation. Rav Belsky Zechet Tzadik Livracha was rushed to the hospital Matzah Shabbos in 2012, and the doctor was ready to do surgery on him, on his esophagus. It was very, very dangerous, and they got a call that there's a professional doctor, a prestigious doctor in Manhattan that's willing to do the surgery. Rav Belsky said, no, that's not the way it goes. Rav Belsky said, I am makir toiv to this doctor that took out the time and is willing to do the surgery. Unbeknownst to everybody, a few minutes later, Rav Belsky himself went into cardiac arrest. He had a heart attack. Who wants to think what would have happened if Chas v'Shalom, Rav Belsky himself would have gone to that doctor? He saved his own life by being makir toiv. And we too, in return, to have to be makir toiv in a way of lemaisa to the Heilige Yeshiva Torah Vodaath, who we learned for so long. 25 years ago, my friends and I of class 1993 graduated Mesifta. What is so special about being a Torah Vodaath Talmud? And what are the ingredients that produce such an elevated class of Rosh Yeshiva
Paiskim, Choshev Balibatim, Askonim, who are still learning many, many years after their chasna. How could it be Reb Tzvi Danziger, my dear friend, my chavrusa for many years, who himself gives a Daf Yomi shir? How could it be that he left everything, all his aspirations, to go and sit and learn together with the Shkoilel Arava Goyin Rabbi Williger Shlita, who he could have had anything he wanted? How is it possible that Rabbi Yossi Zucker, who is being honored tonight, and I came to him for a donation for Mesifta Archa Meir, and he takes me into his house and he says, oh, so warm, he gave me a beautiful donation, and he tells me on the way out, oh, you should know, Rabbi Friedman, you should just know that you don't have to wait a full year to come back. You could come back much sooner. Where do we have such payers that have such deeds? And Baruch Hashem, Aaron Eichhorn, my dear classmate, my very good friend, who Baruch Hashem, Rabbi used to call him Aaron HaKoyen for his unbelievable Clarkite and Torah, and he goes out to Atlanta, and he goes to be Marbitz Torah, and not to mention Rabbi Ephraim Rosenberg, my dear friend, who Baruch Hashem, I tell my Bachrim this every time. Not everybody knows that Baruch Hashem, he's been in the papers, how much he helps Yidden out to be able to have Parnasa. But he told me once a vart when we were Bachrim, I tell it over to my Bachrim all the time. He says, you know, Shimi, when I go ahead and I say a bracha, Birchas HaTorah in the morning with Kavana, that day the Torah is much more clear for me. I understand the Torah much better. And he was mechavan to Groise Gedolim. Last but not least, Achon Chaviv, my dear friend, Mayor, Deputy Mayor of Lakewood, Isaac Ackerman, who I could really call a shutav in our yeshiva for all the help he's given us and all the tireless effort that he puts into Mesifta Archaimeh and all the Maises of Lakewood and anywhere beyond for individuals to help them in chesed. It's unbelievable that Reb Shraga Feivel Mendelovich Zechet Tzadik Livracha could look down and see such a beautiful class of such chashuva balibatim, chashuva loimdei Torah, chashuva distinguished class of unbelievable people. But where does this all come about from? How does it happen? I think maybe we can answer the question with another question. What is pshat? Every 6-year-old child comes home, Vodaath, he has his apple and his honey in his hand, and he is waiting for Rosh Hashanah by night to bench everybody with a sweet new year. And why does he come home with that apple in his hand? Like the Maril asks, can we find a sweeter fruit than an apple? V'oid, in the charoises, we put in apples in the charoises. There's amazing Targum. The Targum says that on Shavuos, I don't know if people know about this minig, on Shavuos, people used to go up to the roof of the Beis HaKnesses, throw down apples, and all the children used to pick up and leave the rest for the Goyim. And not only that, Rabbeinu Maimon, the Rambam's father, said until his times, they used to do this minig every Shavuos. And Haman, when he went to Achashverosh, he told Achashverosh, this is what Klal Yisrael does. This is what Klal Yisrael does. Why is this so important to Klal Yisrael, the symbol of apples? The Vilna Gaon says in Siman Tov Kuf Pei Gimel, Zok De'ele Gaon, when Yitzchak Avinu was benching Yaakov Avinu, he smelled a Reach HaSodeh. And the Gemara in Taanis Chavtes, Rashi says it's called the Stei Tapuchim, an apple field. What is this apple field? We come home, we say in Kabbalah Shabbos, Boi v'neitzei likras kala, lachakal tabichim kadishim. The holy apples. What are these apples? And if I could be even bold, and it may ask, why do the world say that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Maybe it's the pear that doesn't fall far from the tree. Maybe an orange doesn't fall far from the tree. And not only that, when a father wants to talk about his son, he says, my son is the apple of my eye. What is the reason for this? I once heard a moirdige gedank that could answer all these questions and really teach us what Mesifta and Yeshiva Torah Vodaath is all about. And what we have to have a Karasatay for. Reb David Hashmeyer, the Zatzal, the Mashgiach in Stanford says, moirdik. There's a very big difference in how to plant the apple tree than other trees. All the other trees, we all know you take a seed of the peach, you take a seed of the pear, and you put it in the ground and out grows a beautiful pear tree, a beautiful peach tree. But it's not the same by an apple tree. By an apple tree, you have to graft and take a part of the bark of the existing tree, and that pre-existing tree you replant in together with the apple tree, and that could grow out a beautiful tree. And that's what Klal Yisrael is about. Klal Yisrael is about taking the Messiah that we got from the Avos, like Rashi says in Bechikoisai Teilechu, Rosh Yeshiva Avos. We have to take everything we received from the previous generation and take that bark of the tree and plant it into the new generation and replant it into the walls of the yeshiva. And that's really what makes Yeshiva Torah Vodaath so special and so distinguished more than any other place. 100 years of unique, unparalleled chinuch. Yeshiva Torah Vodaath always gave the Bachrim. They started Lakewood. Reb Shagafai sent Bachrim to Chaim Berlin, to Telz Cleveland. All the meisters came from Yeshiva Torah Vodaath. Reb Shagafai Mendelovich had a moirdige heart. As we know, he was nifter, saying Uvenei Yerushalayim because he cared so much about the Heilige Yerushalayim HaKodesh. And through his heart, he infused in all his Bachrim. He told once a Bachar, he said, "You're homesick, no problem. I am your father, but I'm not only your father, I'm also your mother." Yeshiva Torah Vodaath is the mother of Klal Yisrael. It's the first high school yeshiva that Reb Shraga Feivel ingeniously thought about himself to be able to create. And Reb Moshe Feinstein, the Paisik Adar Zatzal, said that if not for Yeshiva Torah Vodaath and Reb Shraga Feivel, it would be Tishtakech Torah mi Yisrael. Klal Yisrael, we wouldn't be able to have the Torah that we have. And it's these bark of the Yeshiva Torah Vodaath's apple tree, of Klal Yisrael's apple tree, that are infused in the Talmidim. And that's how, Baruch Hashem, I was zeicher to such an amazing class. Such an amazing, I was speaking to Oshi Edelstein over here, our dear friend, and he tells me it's unbelievable, such a class that we were zeicher to, really, really special. And Knai Nahara B'Sheva should help weiter. We should be zeicher to take all the Grace Gedoyle Torah. Gedoyle Torah, talking about Rav Hyman, Shlomo Hyman. Shlomo Hyman said, I just saw today, I was looking at Chidusha of Shlomo for a shtickle, and he says over there that chinuch has to be the most important thing for people, for the generation of Klal Yisrael to be able to go weiter. And we have to do this, and we have to help Rabbi Yitzchak Godiner, who 24/7 lives the yeshiva, and he breathes the yeshiva. And we must give him a hand, as my father and mother have done for many, many years, supporting Yeshiva Torah Vodaath. My grandfather, who learned in Yeshiva Torah Vodaath, who our yeshiva is named after, all this infusion comes as a hakara satayv that we must have. And I must mention, we have to follow the footsteps of Ochi Agodo, my older brother, Matis, who, Baruch Hashem, gives of himself tirelessly, in an amazing way. Matis Yo is Taka, Matis Ka, he gives to the Rebbeinu Shalom. He feels it's his tafkid to rebuild and help Rabbi Yitzchak rebuild Torah Vodaath
And Baruch Hashem, the fruits are amazing. Rabbi Yanka Brag told me that the Bochrim and the Yeshiva and the Mesifta, they know their stuff so well, they're horribing and learning. And Matis Yo is Taka Rosh Tevis, Taf Kidoi Hu, Yeshiva Torah Vodaath. So I'd like to be Messiah, Rabbi Isai, and tell you that Tapuach is Taka Gematria Pru Vu. And a Taka is something that Klal Yisrael has to go back. The way we grow and the way we are fruitful in our Eichus and Kamas is through taking the Avos and taking what 100 years K'nayin Ora of Yeshiva Torah Vodaath has given us. And I would have to mention that my Zayder, Rabbi Yisachar Hasenfeld, he loved the yeshiva because of the unparalleled chinuch in Torah, and in every type and everyone is welcome to learn Torah. And if we take all these unbelievable qualities and we met Hashem, we take the bark of all the Gedolim Rosh Yeshivas of Yaakov and of Shleimer, of Reuven, and Bodim Chaim, the unbelievable Groiser of Savitsky and of Reisman and of Katz and all the Groiser and Allah. And if we take with them and we show our Hakaras HaToiv L'Maisa, as David Chassam Sofer says, the Vash is Das, Bina, and Seichel, but L'Maisa is the apple, and that's what we make a bracha on, because that's the Iker. So, Metz Hashem, we should all put our front step forward and help the yeshiva grow and wax. And Metz Hashem, we should all, together with the Reach Gan Eden that Yitzchak gave over for Yaakov Avinu, the state Tapuchim, we should all be to see that state Tapuchim. And Metz Hashem, with the coming of Mashiach, Tzidkenu b'mheir b'menu. Amen.
We now turn to the class of 1968. I will ask Rabbi Gedalia Weinberger to introduce this class and its representatives. Rabbi Gedalia has gained renown as the epitome of an Asken, devoting countless hours and supreme efforts on behalf of Klal Yisrael. He has been connected to the yeshiva in a significant way for many decades, and is a devoted and active member of the Executive Board of Directors. Please give your attention to Rav Gedalia Weinberger, who will introduce the class of 1968 and its representatives.
Thank you, Rishus Rosh Yeshiva. Before I begin talking about the class of 68, it was just mentioned, but I think it needs much more of a mention. The great Hakaras HaTov we have to Rabbi Yitzchak Gattiner. In his capacity as executive director, he's much more than an executive director. He really is the heart and soul of the yeshiva. He's what makes the yeshiva run and continue to grow. He is devoted day and night, not 6 days a week, but 7. He's willing to travel around the globe, across the country, to be able to do everything to help the yeshiva succeed. We really owe him a really great round of applause. I would also like to recognize the efforts of the Executive Committee. It's composed of our chairman, Chaim Leshkowitz, Moshe Zafir, Matis Friedman, Moshe Haas, and Naftali Leshkowitz. We have an old guard that's passing on to the new guard. And Baruch Hashem, they are stepping up to the plate. They're getting very involved in every aspect of the yeshiva, and really that has been breeding tremendous success. It's interesting, when I watched the presentation to the graduates of 25 years ago, and how do you contrast them with graduates of 50 years ago? And really, that's really represent two different stages in the life cycle of the individual. The graduates of 25 years ago are at the peaks of their careers or just entering that phase. They're active, they're doing whatever they do to succeed in their various ventures. The graduates of 50 years ago are at the nadir of their career, sort of toward at the end point. They are retiring. And they have a lot to give and learn. The two individuals who are representing the class, Yossi Feldman and my brother Shlomi Weinberger, are very similar. They both learned in the yeshiva from the first grade through elementary school, through high school, into Beis Medrash. Yossi left after many years in Beis Medrash, went to Eretz Yisrael to learn in Beis HaTalmud under Rav Dov Schwartzman, Zatzal. My brother Shlomi stayed in the yeshiva. They entered their careers and were very successful. And then it came a point in time where they retired. And they both have lessons to teach us of what a Torah Vodaath Talmud does in his retirement. They don't go out to travel. They don't spend their time idling away at various activities, which most of this country does when they reach that stage. They are Talmidim of Torah Vodaath. And as you've heard mentioned before, a Talmud of Torah Vodaath is involved with Torah and with Chesed. And maybe the name should have been Torah v'Chesed, but it's really the Das to have the Seichel, to be able to continue to learn and to continue to do Chesed in those years. Yossi graduated from elementary school and high school. He learned in Eretz Yisrael. He got married. He came back, established a business, retired to Lakewood. One of, I would say, his key achievements, he was the founder of PCS, Professional Career Services, a division of Agudas Yisrael that's involved with helping people get parnasa. For the last almost 30 years, his involvement, and I have the schus to sort of be a partner with him and Shmuel Lefkowitz in this organization, have literally counseled thousands of people, placed thousands of people, and put thousands of people in very productive careers. It's a chesed that's beyond imagination. When he retired and moved to Lakewood, he didn't just sit around. He's involved as a Rebbe, Mashgiach, with Talmidim every single day in Yeshiva Heichel HaTalmud of Lakewood. I spoke to Rosh Yeshiva before, who said that the job that he does with those Talmidim is truly amazing. They have a tremendous amount of respect for him. He learns with them, he counsels them, and this is his volunteer activity for the morning. In the afternoon, you can find him in the PCS office in Lakewood and involved again in helping people and helping that organization grow. With his wife, they built a wonderful mishpach in Klal Yisrael. It's a great kavod for us to have Yossi please come up to the podium and his family, sons, to be able to accept the appropriate award. Will Yossi's children please come up to the podium?
It's a
little more. Yossi, a little more.
Where is it? Oh, look at the video screen.
There is it. Okay. Perfect.
Yossi, proud to be your neighbor. Keep your company a little. If you want to, no problem.
What can you say about your own brother? He was a Talmud of Torah Vodaath from pre-1A through Smicha. He learned by Rav Pam, he learned by Rav Rivkin Zatzal. He's been a Maggid Shir of Daf Yomi for 35 years. He's finishing his 5th machzer as a Maggid Shir. In his chesed, he's chairman of the Vad Refuah, which helps improve care to many members of his community, especially with respect to Maimonides Hospital. He's very well respected there and has accomplished tremendous things. We share something, besides everything else that we share, that we've both davened in yeshiva in the Yomim Noraim since the yeshiva moved to Flatbush, which is 50 years in a row without missing any of them. Shlomi retired from a very wonderful career as a managing director, as an actuary. And now that he has the time, he spends his morning going to shiurim. He spends his afternoon every day learning in the yeshiva with chavrusas, and he spends at night giving his daf yomi shir. I speak to him every week at least once, many times more. I find it's much better to reach him now when he was working. Then now he's busy learning, and it's not as simple. He's accomplished a tremendous amount, and between him and Yossi, they are great representatives of the class of '68. He has Shlomi and all of his children, my nephews, to please come up to the podium.
Guys, move down. Move down. More.
Okay. Over here.
very early. I was started off in the 3rd grade. I was 9 years old in Crown Heights. Back then, when the only way to get to Crown Heights was with cars with electrical wires on it. And there was Rabbi Gedalia Shul waiting at the bus stop. And we had Rabbi Pincus, the father of Shimshon Pincus, was a Menal in the 8th grade. And we had Rabbi Bender, the father of Yankel Bender, as the Menal in the junior high school. And I had Rabbi Belsky as the 12th grade Rebbe. And this transition to have these Rebbeim that were really had roots in Europe.
I started in the yeshiva 63 years ago when I started in pre-1A. I stayed in the yeshiva through Smicha. I never attended another yeshiva.
Everybody went to Torah Vodaath. Torah Vodaath was like the yeshiva for Brooklyn. And you had Chassidim, and you had Litvisha, and you had Marim. And you learned the strong points from each one. When you went into the outside world, you were comfortable with the Chassidim. You were comfortable with Litvisha. You were comfortable with all groups in Klal Yisrael. That's where I think that Askonim and people that are involved with the tzibur, so many come from Torah Vodaath.
I look around in my graduating class and the tremendous leaders in all aspects of Rabbanas, Askonas, and real leaders. And I think that's something that permeates the yeshiva. And it's not just my class, it's the class before, the class above. The feeling that achrayus is for the tzibur, not only for yourself, is something, a lesson that was not imparted directly, but was in the avi of the yeshiva and really inspired all of us.
My grandfather came here as a teenager before World War I, kept Shabbos, went from job to job, and then he became treasurer of Torah Vodaath. He signed Rabbi Chanan's papers when he came to visit the United States. He signed for him to come. My father was president of the Alumni Association, and he started Camp Torah Vodaath. And Camp Torah Vodaath really continued the Torah Vodaath education 12 months a year and affected so many.
When Lakewood was starting, I was in the yeshiva when I think it got its big infusion, when a lot of Talmidim left the yeshiva and went to Lakewood. The goal of the yeshiva has really been the goal of Klal Yisrael, not the goal of the yeshiva. It was really true that if there was any situation that came up in Klal Yisrael, for example, Beragola was started, Rav Pam called a meeting of alumni and asked people to volunteer to work on that. I don't recall Rav Pam ever calling me to ask me to do something for the yeshiva, but he did call to do things for others. So it was really a lesson that was instilled by Rav Pam and by other yeshivas, and I think it's a lesson that was really picked up by Talmidim as you look around and see the askonis of Talmidim of Torah Vodaath. What it was is that it prepared people to be valuable members of Klal Yisrael.
Good evening, everybody. For those who don't know, my name is Yitzchak Gatiner. Baruch Hashem, we've served the first course. We've given you some potato kugel in only a few minutes when it can continue with the main course. But at this moment, I would like to express a karas hatov to 4 young alike who were very involved in this year's dinner, and ask them to come up together to accept a presentation. Rabbi Yitzchak Teibi, a Talmud Muvik of the Rosh Yeshiva, and Rabbi Yosef Zucker served as the Moreinu Rav Yosef Savitsky Tribute Chairman. Dr. Sroli Deutsch, nephew of Rabbi Yaina Blumenfrucht, a member of the class of 1993, close to Rabbi Aaron Brown, served as tribute chairman with Avram Biederman, who is currently in Eretz Yisrael, and Rabbi Tzvi Danziger, member of the class of 1993, served as journal chairman. Please step forward and accept a presentation together.
you know.
Beautiful.
Good.
Okay.
Find out. A dinner that is Mugdash Le'ilu Nishmas Rabbi Blumenfrucht is an opportunity to speak about alumni, parents, and friends who made it a priority in their lives to go above and beyond for our wonderful Rosh Yeshiva Megidisher Mechanchim. Anytime there was a project or a campaign that would improve the lives of our educators, had the participation and the avid backing of Rabbi Blumenfrucht, Lahavdil Mechayim L'chaim, his Chashav Eishes Chayil. So give me another 2-3 minutes to express our Hakaras HaTov to certain people that are here in the audience. First of all, to my dear friends Rabbi and Moshe Fuchs, who for decades single-handedly provided a beautiful matana for our Rebbeim and Chavrei HaKollel twice a year. Eventually, as the yeshiva grew and the needs grew, they were joined by Reb Chaim and Yossi Leshkowitz, Reb Moshe Zafir, and recently, Reb Matis Friedman. They, together with their families and numerous other Chashav Balei Tzedakah, have made helping our Rebbeim and Chavrei HaKollel a focus of their pre-Yom Tov tzedakahs. You really make a difference in the lives of our Rebbeim, and they deserve a round of applause. I just mentioned Reb Chaim Leshkowitz, Reb Moshe Zafir, and Reb Matis Friedman, but they're part of a larger team, the Executive Committee of the Board of Directors, who work closely with Yedidi Reb Gedalia Weinberger, Reb Moshe Haas, Reb Naftali Leshkowitz, with input continuously from Avram Rees and Harry Skidel. There's a unity. We all work together with the Rosh Yeshiva Menalim and principals and make sure that the yeshiva continues in a most positive direction. Yasher Koyach. Several years ago, in response to the perceived need, Achnasas Kala Fund was established for the benefit of our Rebbeim. And now every Rebbe that makes a wedding receives a matana of $10,000 to help with wedding expenses. Established by Rabbi Moshe Zafir and his wife in memory of her mother, Mrs. Sarah Broka, the Zafirs match the monies being generated by several of our parents who raise the funds from the parents. I don't believe that I've stood at the podium and really singled out any particular parent, but there comes a time for everything. And one of the parents who really drove this forward, amongst many other projects, a loyal Torah Vodaath Talmud, is Reb Baruch Trevitsky. And I'd like to publicly thank him and wish him and his wife continued Hatzlacha and Nachas from their beautiful family. Now, we all know that we come to the Torah Vodaath dinner and we hear all about the great Balbatim and what they do. And the truth is, they help grease the wheels to keep it moving. But we're also all cognizant and realize that the Iker in the yeshiva is the Torah and the education. So I'd like to acknowledge the wonderful efforts of our Rosh Yeshiva, Menalim, Mechanchim, principals, and teachers, all of them who have but one goal in mind: what can I do for my Talmidim? Yashikayach to the Rosh Yeshiva, Reina Rav Savitsky Shlita, Harav Yisrael Reisman Shlita, to my dear Rebbe, Harav Elia Katz, Rav Baruch Rabinowitz, Rav Ephraim Glassman, Rav Shlomo Stein, Rav Usher Sabo, Rav Shmuel Goldstein, Mr. Chaim Shulett, Mr. Yitzchak Fink, Rabbi Yitzchak Pearl, and Rav Shlomo Gadina. The foundation for Chinuch begins at the tender age of 2.5 years old at Torah Vodaath. And therefore, I want to welcome and express my gratitude to an Isha Tsunua, Mrs. Aviva Misker, and her wonderful group of warm, dedicated preschool teachers. These are the first interaction with the youngest children. And so many parents and grandparents said they are thrilled with our preschool. These teachers, the Rebbeim, the general studies teachers, and the specialists who work with our children with one-on-one, work with the highest standards. They all deserve a very large round of applause. There's also a behind-the-scenes administrative staff. I get the covered, but they work hard. So I'd like to thank Reb Shraga Werner, Benjamin Lipsky, Reb Moshe Sheichet, Yaakov Kaplan, Shmuley Cotton, Reb Yitzchak Diamond, of course our cook, Reb Nissim Aronoff, and the very special Nashim Tzidkaniyas who carry an achrayis throughout the year, and especially in these last few weeks, working late into the night, night after night, and I thank their husbands and their children as well. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu continue to bless each and every one of you. Approximately a quarter of a century ago, I received a phone call from a gentleman who had learned in Torah Vodaath before his bar mitzvah in the late 1940s. He had seen one of our newest newsletters, one of our first, on the cover, and he wanted to come back to Torah Vodaath and see what's going on. And so one visit to Torah Vodaath, and he came an hour before the appointment and walked around the whole building first, because he's a businessman, and he wanted to see what's he going to invest in. One interaction with Rabbi Aaron Brown was all it took, and after that, Fred and Jeanette Bogart became our dear, dear friends. They are dedicated supporters and a couple who has been there every year, encouraging the yeshiva to grow and move forward. Tonight, Fred is here with us, joining with another good friend of the yeshiva, a Talmud, and a very dear friend of mine, Rabbi Hershel Leiner, and they are doing something very meaningful on the 10th yard site of Rabbi Aaron Brown, our beloved past executive director. Rabbi Brown was a very good friend. Second, Mishkiach Shlita is entering the room. Rabbi Brown was a very good friend to many. To the Liners, he was very special because he was also their shadchan. And now Fred and his mishpacha and Reb Hershel and his mishpacha have come together tonight to dedicate the executive director's office L'Zeicha Nishmas Reb Aaron ben Reb Shlomo Brown. In his memory and in honor of all the yeshiva's executive directors, past, present, and future. I know that means that I'm included, and I appreciate it, and it's a standard to live up to. But it's important for us to know that Rabbi Brown's work of a half a century will be remembered l'zikaron olam in a prominent place in our yeshiva. It's now my privilege to ask Fred and Reb Hershel Leiner to join me at the podium for a presentation. Fred has a tremendous ahava for Eretz Yisrael. He's a major supporter of AIPAC and is always worried about what will be with Klal Yisrael. And so we are going to present him with a beautiful, meaningful picture of the holiest place in Eretz Yisrael, the Kaisel HaMaravi. I asked the members of our executive committee, Reb Chaim, Reb Gedalia, Reb Moshe, Matis, Moshe, and Naftali Leshkowitz, to join me at the podium for the presentation, We all loved Rabbi Brown, and it's a very meaningful moment for us all. Rabbi Leiner will then read us the plaque.
He's very sneaky. Very sneaky.
It's supposed to be on. Herschel, you want to read it? Herschel. Just read it right here.
What? Oh, you read.
Come stand next to me. Okay. The Rabbi Aaron Brown Executive Office, L'zeich Nishmas, Rav Aaron ben Rav Shlomo Zatzal, the main Kemach in Torah. Shiva Torah Vodaath is a decades-long beacon of Torah light for American Jewry and has been fortunate to have executive directors that serve with arduous commitment and passion. Their work impacts the operations and vision of the school and each of the Talmidim whose lives are forever touched by their care. We pay tribute to the memory of Rabbi Aaron Brown upon his 10th yahrzeit for his half-century of meaningful leadership and dedication to the yeshiva. We salute the efforts of Rabbi Yitzchak Gatiner for so ably continuing to carry the executive director's torch. Fred and Janet Bogart, Herschel and Javier Leiner.
I'm going to say something. One is on here. Can I say 2 words?
2 words, yeah.
They let me say 2 words. Actually, in the last 30 some odd years that I came back to support the yeshiva with what little we do, I've known exactly 2 people, Rabbi Brown and Rabbi Gottinger. And I have to tell you, they are 2 unbelievable people. Without them, I think half the people wouldn't be in the audience. That's my opinion. I came about 30 years ago, whenever it was, and I just introduced myself, and I think I gave Rabbi Brown $50. Somehow or other, he became my best friend and treated me. I thought I was a long-lost brother. And Rabbi Gottinger, all of a sudden, did exactly the same thing. I can't believe it. These are the 2 finest people I've known in the whole world.
Now, please turn your attention to the video screens, and that will be followed by the main course. Fred.
I was in concentration camp. It wasn't easy. It was very, very, very hard. The captain, who was the big balbus, and me, and the whole group, were big Soini Yisrael. But Shemsburach gave me koyach. I don't know what kind of school I had. No. But Shemsburach gave me koyach. I never touched treifes. I never missed film. That was as man. I was eating 3 days snow not to touch treifes. Somebody is eating treifes, he can't learn. This treif is mitamtim as.
What is it about Rabbi Aaron that gave him this capacity to have such emunah, rock solid emunah, unwavering and unshakable, unbreakable emunah. He lost his father at the age of 2. He went through the worst of the Holocaust, several concentration camps. And many years later, more choshech, more unspeakable choshech. The Rav Aaron kept going. The Edelkeit didn't disappear. His love for the yeshiva didn't diminish. His love of humanity never wavered throughout. Rav Aaron ben Shlomo Olav Shalom, he was the Gizbar. Oh yes, all of the great giants, the Gedolim, who have taught here and who do teach Torah here, they are the backbone and the fabric of this yeshiva. But Rav Aaron was the soul. He made it his life's work to make sure that the yeshiva's legacy and that the yeshiva itself would be perpetuated. He was a surrogate father to hundreds and hundreds of boys. He guided countless boys with their shidduchim and with their careers. In many cases, he would arrange to buy boys' suits. In many cases, he would arrange special chesed deliveries quietly, unknowingly to families, because he was an ish chesed, because his whole life, his essence was chesed, to do chesed. He was a beacon. He was looking out how he could do chesed. He was so real. He was so sincere, and he gave up his whole life in this yeshiva. May we all be zocheh to see the emes with such clarity that Rav Aaron ben Rav Shlomo Olav Shalom had. May we all learn from the extraordinary life of our dear friend, Rav Aaron, how to grab the maftechos and the achrayas for this yeshiva with the same mesiras nefesh, energy, commitment, and humility that he exemplified throughout his life.
I wish all of you, and you should steig out, you should be mamish like the Gedolei Yisroel. This is what I beg, the Shem Yisborach.
Der soll helfen, der soll mekieren werden, und wir sollen alle sehen, eine Sache nachher ist bei allen unseren Kindern, ad sof kol adoyres.
Okay, the main course is now going to be served. We will continue the program at approximately 10 minutes and bring it to conclusion by 9:05, right on schedule. I ask those that are on the dais to remain seated for a group picture. You know how it is. Please wait, give it a minute. Please give it a minute so that we can get the picture. Heshi, give me a minute. Heshi. Okay, let's go. Quick.
My linebacker here.
Next part of the program will begin at 8:30. Back. you an escort.
Get you 2 euros for the
נפשי חולה אהבוסךו אוי 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 אהבוסךו אוי נפשי חולה אהבוסךו אוי 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 Oy 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 ahavu ahavu sechu oy 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 unu kailu refu unu lo oy beharo islo nu yam Haro Yislo nu yam zivechu Oy unu kailu refu nu Oy Haro Yislo nu yam zivechu Val nafshi choyla zahavu sechu Oy 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 nafshi choyla zahavu sechu Nafshi choyla zahavu sechu Oy 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 Seichu Oy nafshi choylas here. Understand your scientist?
Aisha. We ask everyone to please take their seats. In a moment or two, I'm going to turn over the program to Rabbi Yosef Zucker, who will serve as the chairman of the tribute to the Rosh Yeshiva Shlita. Rabbi Yosef is a Talmud of the Rosh Yeshiva, who today is a resident of Lakewood and is making his parnasa in the healthcare field. He has accepted to be tribute chairman together with our well-known 7th grade Rabbi, Rav Yitzchak Taibi. They represent the scores of Talmidim who thank the Rosh Yeshiva for giving them a derech halimud for life and to properly understand the sugya in Shas. But first, at the express ratzon of the Rosh Yeshiva Shlita, and of course with the haskam of all of us, we want to take a moment to express hakaras hatov and a tzeischem l'shalom to a beloved Talmud, Harav Sender Hollander Shlita. Rav Sender spent many years in our yeshiva as a Talmud. We all know he's the son of Reb Shia Hollander Zechrono Livracha, and when Reb Shia and his chashuva wife, who is with us this evening, wanted to be mechanach their children in the derech that Reb Shia himself was mechanach, they sent all their wonderful sons to Mesivta Torah Vodaath. Reb Shia was an involved member of our executive board for decades. His lessons are with me on a daily basis, and he's sorely missed by us all. It was a nachas ruach to Reb Shia and his Eishes Chayil that several years ago, despite the name Hollander attached to Sender, we invited him to join the faculty of our Mesivta and Beis Medrash. Reb Sender did an outstanding job, beloved by his peers and his Talmidim. Residing in Monsey, spending days, nights, and Shabbosim here, he partnered with Rav Yaakov Moshe Brag. Reb Sender moved mountains, but at this time, he has accepted a prominent position 5 minutes to home versus an hour and 30 minutes from home. We will miss him, and we will continue to lean on him for advice and help. So we would like to ask Reb Sender to come forward and join the Rosh Yeshiva in accepting a presentation. What do you buy for a Sender Hollander? We were able to locate a very special sefer from the private library of our beloved Rosh Yeshiva Moreina of Pam Zatzal, Reb Shia Hollander's Rebbe. We present this to Reb Sender as a token of our esteem. I would like to ask the Rosh Yeshiva to stand together with Rav Elia Katz Shlita, Rav Baruch Rabinowitz, the Menal of the Mesivta, and Rav Yaakov Moshe Brag to join us at the podium for the presentation. Safe is actually inside. So not the front.
It's like I'm crashing the party.
Sure. Anybody else? Not the front. This safe is in the library. Very hard to find. Forward. We are now up to the part of the tribute to the Rosh Yeshiva. I would be remiss if I wouldn't take a moment myself to thank the Rosh Yeshiva for allowing me to pressure him to go out of his general derech of Hatznei Leches by allowing a public tribute. I want to wish the Rosh Yeshiva Mazel Tov on the recent chassan of an Einikel. May simcha and good health be with the Rosh Yeshiva at all times. This is our 99th dinner, and in Eretz Hashem, in a little less than a year, we plan on a major centennial celebration. As you came into the lobby, you should have seen a tall, impressive-looking book entitled 100-Year Odyssey of America's Flagship Yeshiva. The book will be published in time for our centennial dinner sometime next winter. Hopefully, we will be locating a large hall in Yerushalayim Ir HaKodesh. But in case we're not there yet, then we'll let you know where it is and how you can be part of it. And now, I ask you to please turn your video screen as we begin the tribute to the Rosh Yeshiva for 25 years of Abatz's Torah and Torah Vodaath, followed by Yossi Zucker and the Rosh Yeshiva Shlita.
Tavshin and Gimel, I was learning Eretz Yisrael. Unfortunately, we heard of the Besura of the passing of Rebbe Fein, Zechan Vracha, and Mashiach had gone to meet with Yosevitsky to be, see a very perspective as Shiva. I remember the next day after davening, Mashiach discussing how impressed he was with Yosevitsky, meeting him, and he said jokingly, he's from the Shas party. Everybody was surprised, I didn't think like the Tikkun Svadi for Yeshiva, but Meshkech, of course, he meant to say that he's Haid and knows Shas, and he was very impressed with him. And that made myself and some of my Chaverim excited. So although we had plans at that time maybe to stay in Israel, but being that we heard that Yosevitsky is coming, we're excited to go back.
I learned in Torah Vodaath many years ago, and I know a little bit the history of Torah Vodaath. They had great Rosh Yeshivas. They were Goyinim. All the Rosh Yeshiva Torah Vodaath, and I saw that Reb Shlomo Hyman explains, and he says a Goyin is not only a greater Talmud Chacham. A Goyin is something entirely different. Like we take an example, the sun and the moon is the moon, and the sun, we would say the sun has greater light than the moon. It's a different entity. And Torah Vodaath was zeicher to many Goinim. All of the Shivas were Goinim. And I would say that we don't have today too many Goinim. But Rav Savitsky, is a Yid that would fit this title of our days, a Goyin Bat Torah. And when he came to Lakewood, he was very chaviv by Rabbi, and he grew and he grew. Baruch Hashem, he kept on learning and growing, and he's Roy. There's very few people who would say there's Roy to be Rosh Yeshivas of Torah Vodaath. He's very fitting to be Rosh Yeshiva of Torah Vodaath.
I remember the day when Savitsky came the first time into the Beis Medrash, and Rav Pam Zechan Vracha, Rav Nochaim Chaim walked him in. And he showed him to his place, and he sort of crowned him as the new Rosh Yeshiva at that time. Sitting in the Rosh Yeshiva Shir, it was just awe-inspiring. I mean, to see a Gadol that is literally Kol HaTorah Kula at his fingertips, and the way he delved into every sugya and explained to us you knew that it was coming from Kol HaTorah Kula.
What always comes to mind is his unparalleled ability of delving into the svara of the sugya. But not for the sake of saying a svara, but really for the sake of clarifying the words of the Rishonim. When you come out of Shir, there's no question about it, there's not an extra word in Rashi. Or for that matter, in a Rashba or in a Rambam.
Rosh Yeshiva has taught me how to think, how to truly learn through every sugya, like a real Ben Torah, and get what the sugya has to offer.
He demanded of us klarkeit in everything, not only in the learning, but in everything that we did. That was a yid. The yid didn't do anything, just the gemitz anoshim ulamada. Everything had to be with depth, thought out, process, and with clarity.
Any time that there was a possibility that the answer should be, well, what's best for the bochum, that was always the guiding light by the Rosh Yeshiva. What would be best for the bochum? What would be most beneficial for the bochum?
Being in line with the great Rosh Yeshivas of Yeshiva Vodaath, from Shlomo Hyman to Eli Chazan, Rav Ruven Fein, and Yehuda Mechaim, the Rosh Yeshiva Shlita. It's in line with what Torah Vodaath is always about. To giving over the Torah, the Derech Eretz, the Midas, the Hashkafas HaChaim.
We're holding the days of Shvius Oima. Shvius Oima, we count Oima. What does Oima tell us? That Kol Yisha V'chel Chefsa is only the Torah Akdosha. There's nothing else. My only desire, my only bikush, the only thing I want in life is Torah. That's what he exemplifies very, very strongly. There's nothing else besides Torah.
Good evening. I would like to personally welcome everyone to this beautiful dinner tonight, at which we pay tribute to our esteemed Rosh Yeshiva, Moreno Rav Yosef Savitsky Shlita, commemorating 25 years of our Batzas HaTorah in Yeshiva Torah Vodaath. I know in general the policy for speakers is to have a video presentation and not talk live. I wanted to thank Rabbi Gadiner for entrusting me with a live speech. There really is just one rule to follow when you get up to talk: keep it short. Driving here from Lakewood, I actually remember a story that happened not long ago. I was in Flatbush by my in-laws, and very often, when traveling back to Lakewood, I would make a right turn on Coney Island, and from there pick up the BQE. I like going this way, traveling through the old neighborhood, and even just coming across the streets of Ditmas and Cortelyou is enough to reminisce. This time, as we were coming toward Ditmas, my son announces that he needs the bathroom. I quickly respond, no problem. We are near my old yeshiva, we could go there, thinking I could take him around and show him where I learned so many years ago. As we got to the front doors, they were locked. An electronic combination lock was now there, and we couldn't get in. I tried all the codes I could think of, mitzvahs, Torah, Taryag, but nothing worked. As we waited for someone to come and open the door, my son turns to me and asks, Tati, don't they have combinations in your time? I told him yes, but they didn't give us the combinations. Why not, he asked. I told him in my times, the combination was on the inside to make sure we didn't leave. Baruch Hashem, since my days, Torah Vodaath has continued to flourish, never content with its glorious history of our Batzas HaTorah and great achievements, but always continuing to raise the bar to be the best today, making this generation's Talmidim the leaders of tomorrow. And at the helm of the yeshiva, leading it for the last quarter of a century, is Rosh Yeshiva Moreno Rav Yosef Savitsky Shlita, whose passion to continuously push the boundaries of what the yeshiva can achieve is reflected in what Torah Vodaath is today. I am very grateful to have the honor and privilege, together with my co-chairman, Rabbi Yitzchak Taibi, to be a part of the Rosh Yeshiva's tribute tonight. It gives me the opportunity to personally thank the Rosh Yeshiva for the time spent learning under him. Nearly 2 decades ago, as a Bachur returning from Yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael, Baruch Hashem, I chose Torah Vodaath with the Rosh Yeshiva and Yeshiva are of a high level as a Yeshiva to continue my growth and learning. Rav Savitsky's shiurim were deep and incisive and helped me acquire a derech halimut to break down and understand any sugya. Rav Savitsky was always available, eager to learn with Talmidim and share his vast knowledge, no matter which sugya or mesechta we were learning. We greatly appreciate the Rosh Yeshiva's tremendous Mesiras Nefesh, especially during his early years in Torah Vodaath. Being Marbitz Torah in Yeshiva required that he move from Eretz Yisrael and be away from his family for long periods of time. Yet he was Marbitz Torah with such enthusiasm and dedication, fulfilling his calling in life, making his Talmidim's growth his priority. The 4 years in Beis Medrash and 2 years in Koil I spent Torah Vodaath with the Rosh Yeshiva, years I continue to cherish. On behalf of Rav Savitsky's many Talmidim from the past quarter century, I would like to relay an immense heartfelt akarsa tov toward the Rosh Yeshiva for all that he has given us. May Hashem bench him with the kerch to continue being Marbitz Torah and Beis Medrash Torah Vodaath for many years to come, Be'ezras Hashem. I would also now like to wish the Rosh Yeshiva Mazel Tov on the marriage of his Einik last Thursday. May he continue to see much nachas from his family for many years in good health. I would now like to call the Rosh Yeshiva to join me, as well as the Rosh Yeshiva's brother, Henach Savitsky, and the Rosh Yeshiva's sons and son-in-law at the podium. Yeah, man. When looking for a way to express our Akarsa Tov the Rosh Yeshiva, we knew neither a plaque nor a piece of silver would suffice. Rabbi Gatiner searched for the perfect tribute, and although out of print, found a set of Torah Shulchan Aruch, which you know the Rosh Yeshiva will cherish. We will now hear David Rach from Rosh Yeshiva.
Schuss. Wir kamen bebrochen. Die alle sind gekommen zum Chazik sein, die Yeshiva Torah Vodaath. Da dinne dem Jahr ist Leon Nishmas, einer, was ich gewinne, a Yochid und Yuchad, in sein Aves HaTorah, seine Midas-Tevis, Rabbi eine Blumenfrucht, Zechrin Levroche, hat vorgestellt, an Emes HaTorah, doch ist ein Reis von Yeshiva in der Welt, geblieben HaTorah. Sein ganzes Leben wie gewinnt, als ein Leben von HaTorah. Von verschiedenen Fahnen, wie einer geht ein Reis von der Yeshiva. Es von anderen, was eine Muschbar von der Zwiebel, in was sie befinden sich. Da ist in die Yeshiva, ist ein Muschbar von der Yeshiva. Da ist in der Welt, ist ein Muschbar von der Welt. Und viele, wenn lernt, ist ein weltlicher Mensch, was lernt. Und sie fragen einer, was geht ein Reis von Yeshiva, was sein die in die Yeshiva, nimmt rein in sich, a Ruach HaTorah, was trockt mit der ganzen Leben. Dass sie mal spürt auf alle seine Anhogis, seine Anhogis in Ehrlichkeit, seine Anhogis, wie er fühlt sich mit Menschen, in Benolem Chavere, nicht nur in Benolem Amokim, sondern in Benolem Chavere. Mir dacht sich, als schreibe Feil Mendelowitsch, und habe weggestellt, die Yeshiva hat gesucht, Ramim, als solche Ramim, was wir reingeben, als Ruach HaTorah, da sage ich, mag ihn lernen, was die Bochum sollen bleiben, bin ich Torah, ein ganzes Leben. Viele, wenn geht, ist in Arbeit, das habe ich Torah, was Arbeit. Wenn ich Stube nach dem Ober sein, bei jenen sich in der Woche, sind rein Menschen, die haben gearbeitet mit ihm. Und gerät wegen seiner Ehrlichkeit. Da Kiddush Hashem, was hat gemacht. Hat vorgestellt, dass sagt muss, sagt gewinnt ein Dugme. Für einen Problem hat er ein ganzes Leben, sein ganzes Leben gewinnt auf die Torah. Es ist sehr passig, was die Yeshiva, was mit Gemde Mechine, auf sein Namen Jene. Es hat sehr weggestellt, seine Sprache, so seine mir sehr schon mal Hemmschicht für die Welt. Yehi Zichri Baruch. Ich gebe auf Shevach wie Yidoy zum Rabbeinu Shalom. Es hat mir gegeben den Yechilis zum Arbeitsteher sein in der Nord. Es hat eine reiche Historie von Messias HaTorah. Von Rabbeim, was ihm übergegeben die Torah, was ihm gelernt bei Sehereben. Der Mann ist ihm gehabt von Sehereben. Sie geben übergegeben zu Talmidim. Yeshiva geben Reb Shlomo Heimen, sich in der Woche, hat Talmud Muvik von Reb Ber. Reb Guzowski hat Talmud Muvik von Reb Ber. Reb Elchazan hat Talmud Muvik von Reb Ber. Sie gewinnen noch Rebbeim, wie Elchazan gewinnen Talmidim von Reb Ber. Rav Shep, sie gewinnen Talmud von Briskerov. Sie gewinnen Talmidim von Rebbeim, wo sie gewinnen Talmidim von unser größer Rebben, Rabbi Chaim Levi, Shemi Pivo Chaim, der Rebbe von Elam HaYeshivas. Und sie haben vorgesetzt, dass der Messias zu sehen bekommen von sehr Rebbeim, also gehen weiter, auf dem Weg. Es ist ein Schuss von mir, es ist sicher gewesen, zum Arbeitsteher sein in der Saal. Ich gebe auf Shevach wie Yidoy zum Rabbeinu Shalom. Es hat mir geführt sind, bis Medisch, von Rebang sich in der Woche. Viel auf eine kurze Zeit, was ich noch nicht gewesen. Aber sicher gewesen in der Zeit zum Skari werden zu haben. Später hat der Rabbeinu Shalom mir geführt, zu Jerusalem mir Akedisch, zum Bismedisch von Reben, Rabbi Amuvok, Miri Rabbi, der Berl Soloveitchik sich in der Woche. Ich bin hier auf Shevach zu Yidoy zum Rabbeinu Shalom. Es hat mir der Rabbeinu Shalom, welcher ist mit Zavik Zivugim, es hat mir Zavik gewesen. Het ene was dat die had in zich, een geweldige avasteren, een starke avasteren, een starke avasgeset. Ze had in midden van het sneeuws. Ze heeft met keinem gewend een pas, ik heb in Meloje weer steed. Maar Hashem, ik heb reeds hem gehad. Ik heb maar steeds mispet, we hebben geset, we hadden sneeuw leggen, en Hashem al gekeken. Ze heeft met hem de mogelijkheid, dus we kunnen komen daar, maar met steren zijn in Yeshiva. En veel in dit koeven was ze gewend, zeer krank. Ze heeft zich teruggehouden van de uitwijzen naar veel. Als ze wollten, zal weiter mamscher zijn, maar met steren zijn. Had ik de kaag, ben nog gewend in Yeshiva 2 dagen. Paar dem Tag von ihrer Ptire. Wir kommen einen Tag später, wir kommen an Telefon. Als ihr Matze hat sich plötzlich gebeten, wir sollen gleich kommen. Ich bin angekommen zu Jetzias Neshama. Jehi sicherer Baruch. Der Rambam, wenn fängt an, Hilches Talmud Tere. Er wurde sich vorgestellt, als der Rambam wurde weggestellt, als wie ein anderer hat die Mitzvah alleen van Talmud Tere. Nog maar rumreden die dienen van Talmud Tere. Wer je Mitzvah, wer je niet Mitzvah. Der Rambam fängt gar an Talmud Tere. Als Noshim Avodim Uktanim zijn nicht Mitzvah in Talmud Tere. Noch Akoten Oviv Melamde. Interessant, was der Rambam fängt an, Hilches Talmud Tere, anders wie ein anderer Erte. Früher stellt weg die Mitzvah. Und dann stellt weg die Halachis. Und bedacht sich, als der Rambam konnte Magde zu sein, was ist die Mitzvah von Talmud Tere? Die Mitzvah von Talmud Tere ist nicht die Mitzvah nur zu lernen Tere. Es liegt in der Masacha weiterer Gedanke. Es ist eine Mitzvah von Mamschich sein, der Messias Tere bei Klal Yisrael. Was jeder eine was lernt, ist Mamschich der Messias Tere bei ihm. Als geht es lieber zu seinen Kindern, seine Kinder zu seinen Kindern, ist mit Mamschich der Messias Tere, was sie voran bei Klal Yisrael. Das stellt weg dem Rambam, was man soll wissen, das Talmud Tere ist nicht nur eine Mitzvah von Lernen Tere, es ist eine Mitzvah von Übergeben Tere zum Weiterdikador, also es soll nicht kein werden, der Messias Tere bei Klal Yisrael, hat Bias Geil Zedek. Der Rebbe stellt weg der Rambam, lechat Chile, die Aloche, wer seien die Messias Tere, zu wem man redet, wer seien mit Zuwe auf dem, auf überzugeben, wer seien die Messias von Tere von einem Dorf zum zweiten Dorf. Stellt weg der Rambam, als Noschen war ihm nicht, nur er Tate darf übergeben die Tere zu seinem Sohn weiter und weiter. Zu seinem Sohn, deshalb wird es geben weiter zu seinem Sohn. Seine Bespalz und Rabbi Shalom, es muss geben Kehr weiter Mamschich Tere sein, so weiter Marbetz Tere sein. Ich will nehmen dem Gelegenheit zu danken meine Talmidim Makshivim. Ich will nehmen dem Gelegenheit zu bedanken, gewisser Gottdiener. Ich liegt da rein gewaltige Kehr ist, mit Stadel zu sein. Also die Salaries, die alles soll sein auf Zeit. Die Leder Rebbeim sollen können, mal mit Stere sein, in einer ruhiger Reifen. Ein Salary für ein Rebbe ist nicht nur ein Ehen von Gashmias, ein Ehen von Ruchmias. Der einzige Rebbe, was richtig mal mit Stere sein, ist ein Rebbe, was hört mit noch ein Nefesh. Sie können sich richtig reinwerfen in die Limudim, was darf übergeben zu seinen Talmidim, richtig überzugeben, in ein Leben, als der Talmud soll das verstehen, in einer klare Weg. Auf dem darf der Rebbe haben, ein klare Kopf, darf oben genug ist ein Nefesh auf dem. Liebe ich soll geben, soll weiter Mamschich sein, und unter die heilige Avide, was tut. Wir sind Mispalz in Rabbi Shalom, also die Yeshiva soll weiter tragen, der Messias Tere weiter und weiter, ad Bias HaGeil Tzedek, im Herr wie Amen.
I now turn my attention and the focus of the program to a difficult topic. In my role as tribute chairman this evening, I represent my aunt, Mrs. Frady Blumenfrucht, and her wonderful children, as well as the extended Blumenfrucht family, including Mr. and Mrs. Srully Blumenfrucht and the Kapelowitz and Rosenberg families. Additionally, I represent my parents and the Katz and Rosenberg families. This dinner is very significant for us. We were blessed to have a very special and dear uncle, Rabbi Blumenfrucht Zechrono Livracha, who was an important and active part of our lives. Unfortunately, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw fit to take Uncle Yoni from us a few months ago. Through the pain, we, his loving family, are attempting to commemorate his life in ways that will mirror and provide continuity to the multitude of projects that he nurtured and was passionate about during his lifetime. Rabbi Yonah Blumenfrucht was an extraordinary person. He possessed an amazing strength of character that served as a catalyst for his development of and involvement in countless impressive projects. His home was an important stop for fundraisers and the needy, who benefited from his generosity, the distribution of which was always accompanied by his signature high wattage smile. The boards of many organizations were fortunate to count him as a member because he was always an active member, and his selfless goal was always to move forward the interests of the organization. For many years, Rabbi Yonah was the chief financial officer at a very large firm that specialized in the manufacture of branded garments related to sports teams. His name became synonymous with outstanding business acumen, as well as was mentioned earlier, unparalleled integrity. With this unwavering devotion to excellence and to truth, he earned the profound respect of colleagues and business associates. Rabbi Yonah was the president of Kahal Sasregen in Flatbush for many years, and he was a trusted and close friend and Talmid of Rabbi Reuben Shlita, the Mara Asra. His exceptional warmth and tremendous affinity for Hasidus led Rabbi Yonah to have significant involvement in Kahal Emunas Yisrael in Borough Park and in the Tolis Aaron Hasidus in Eretz Yisrael. He was a loving and very involved father, and together with his wife, Tante Fradi Ad Mea Ve'esrim Shana, raised a family of wonderful children and grandchildren. One of his priorities was being Kavei Itim for Torah, and he set aside time to learn with a chavrusa on a daily basis, particularly after his recent retirement. Despite the incredible demands on his time, his every interaction with others showed a kind and gentle disposition. In his presence, everyone felt like his best friend, no matter his station in life. Yeshiva and Mesivta Torah Vodaath is an institution to which Uncle Yoni had a very strong attachment. Orphaned at the tender age of 12, the yeshiva provided another anchor in his life and was intimately engaged in nurturing his development to become the wonderful person that he was. During his spectacular orations, he would frequently quote his Rabbeim, including Harav Avram Pam Zecher Tzadik Livracha, or Yibad L'Chaim, the Mashgiach, Meirenu, or Rav Moshe Wolfson Shlita. He was a vital member of the board of directors of the yeshiva for decades, and served as the chairman of the annual Malava Malka for many, many years. His sons are alumni of the yeshiva, and two of his sons progressed through the kollel to eventually join the faculty as popular and successful Rabbeim in the elementary school. So many of the characteristics that personified Rabbi Yoina Blumenfrucht were honed and polished in the yeshiva. Anyone who knew Uncle Yaini understood what a central role the yeshiva played in his life and what a debt of gratitude he felt that he owed toward the yeshiva. After the patira of Uncle Yaini, the executive director of the yeshiva, Rabbi Yitzchak Adiner, with the full blessings of the Rosh Yeshiva and the executive committee of the board of directors, as well as with the encouragement of the Mashgiach Meirenu Rav Moshe Wolfson Shlita, approached my Aunt Freidi and the Blumenfrucht children with the following request. Everyone felt very strongly that Uncle Yaini was so unique and embodied so many of the values, goals, and ideals of his Rabbeim at Torah Vodaath that something had to be done to forever memorialize his name in the yeshiva. My aunt was very moved by this proposal, and so, working together with family and friends in a gesture of support and true ahava, and under extremely difficult circumstances, it was agreed upon to move forward with the unprecedented step of naming a division of the yeshiva after Uncle Yaini. This is the first time that the yeshiva will rename a division in memory of a balabos, and it is certainly fitting that they chose to do so for Rabbi Yoina Blumenfrucht Zechrono Livracha, who was a pusher to the yeshiva b'leiv v'nefesh. It was very gratifying for the yeshiva and for the family to see the tremendous enthusiasm that this idea generated. The community embraced this vision of the dedication of the middle school, the Mechina, as Mechina Or Yoina in his memory, and showed an extraordinary level of support for this project, as evidenced by the beautiful and substantial journal and by the presence of so many of his family and friends here this evening. Additionally, as Rabbi Gadiner mentioned earlier, some of the funds will be used to provide the Rabbeim and Chavrei HaKoilel with an additional stipend before the Yomim Tovim. This was a project that was dear to Uncle Yaini's heart and in which he participated annually without fail. This beautiful evening and the measure of stability that it provides for the yeshiva will no doubt elevate the neshama of Rabbi Yoina Meir ben Reb Chaim Alexander Ziskin Zechrono Livracha and provide some measure of nechama for his wife, children, and the extended family. As a token of the tremendous hakaras hatoiv that the yeshiva has to those who were mishtatev in such a generous manner in tonight's campaign, there are beautiful plaques which are displayed in the lobby, which commemorate the awesome efforts taken to promote Hachzakas HaTorah this evening. Please find the plaque with your name on it and take it home to treasure for posterity. Before we cue the video, I ask Rabbi Yitzchak Gadiner, who is the architect of this campaign and the man to whom so much of the success of the yeshiva is due, he's really the lifeblood of the yeshiva, to add a few personal words of his own. Rabbi Yitzchak.
Just want to take a moment to ask Mechila. I know that this was a very difficult campaign for many in the Blumenfrucht family. It was difficult to focus amongst the heartbreak and pain, especially the Almana, some of the children, Rabbi Yisrael, and others. But I thank you for standing strong and working with us to get it done. Rabbi Yaina meant a lot to me on a personal level, and the Mashgiach encouraged me, and I thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we were very, very successful. As you turn your attention to the video about Rabbi Yaina, you will hear from him himself about what the yeshiva meant to him. Following the video, I ask you to remain in your seats and continue to watch the screens as we make an official dedication presentation. During this presentation, a beautiful nigun, prepared specifically for this heilige minute, will be sung by 3 Balei Menagnim of Amunas Yisrael, a kehillah to which Rabbi Yaina was devoted, b'libai b'nafshay. I want to thank Rabbi Ber Ungarische, Rabbi Nachum Meshinsky, and Rabbi Pesci Friedman, who will sing during the official dedication. Reinu HaMashgiach Shlita has been a Rebbe to many of us, but he was the Rebbe of Rabbi Yaina Blumenfrucht. Please remain totally silent after the ceremony to hear the inspiring words of the Mashgiach Shlita, who will be speaking from his seat. And I want to thank the Mashgiach for this tremendous tircha. It's not easy. Mashgiach should be marach yamim al mamlachtai and be with us and help us greet Mashiach Tzidkenu. When the Mashgiach finishes, I ask you to still remain in your seat for another 90 seconds as we show you a video and leave you about the upcoming centennial of Torah Vodaath. And now, please watch the screens.
The true test and the true essence of what Yoni was, when you're in the Koisli Bismedrash, but when you leave your comfort zone, when you leave your comfort zone of your Rebbes, of your Chaverim, your home, your Mishpacha, that's when the true test really begins.
At a recent dinner meeting at the home of our Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Yisrael Reisman Shlita, Rav Yitzchak Shaina Shlita made a very emphatic statement. He said that everything that I am today, he owes to Yeshiva Torah Das. I feel I can say the same thing, and I'm sure so many of us in the hall tonight can say that everything we are, Beruchnius V'Gashmius, we owe to Yeshiva Torah Das.
As most businessmen would do, we're very optimistic. We have an optimistic blick on how, when I tell Yoni, we have to prepare for projections. We have to put paint it a little rosy story. Yoni said, absolutely not. But I said, Yoni, the bank's going to pull our line. They're going to close our business. Yoni said, it doesn't make a difference. The emes is the emes. I am not going to embellish one iota besides the emes. We'd go into the bank. I didn't know what's going to happen here. I had no idea they're going to keep me in business, not keep me in business. So I walked in and I figured, okay, projections, but I'm going to get up and my piece. The minute I walked in, they said, Saul, sit down. I said, what do you mean sit down? It's my company. Sit down. We want to hear from Jonah.
I think Torah Vodaath was a very important influence in his life, maybe the most important influence in his life. Uncle Yaini was constantly quoting his Rabbeim, the Mashgiach, Rav Pam.
Was das ist gewesen in die Herz von Yaini, was als Exeter meister Nefesh gewesen und mit seinem vollen Kajach und mit seinem vollen Interesse ist gewesen reingetan in die Yeshiva Torah Vodaath, sein Yeshiva.
I feel the personal debt of Hakar Satayv to the yeshiva. When I entered the Masifta, it was just a year after my father had passed away at a very young age. And my mother, a young almana with 4 children to raise on her own, the youngest of whom was only 2 years old, was comforted by Rav Brown, Zechron Livracha, a long-time dedicated executive director, who told her that she did not have to worry about tuition.
To try to find the right adjective, he was a Muslim. He was an incredible human being. He was a Yachid B'minai. I'm proud to say that I know him come out all my life. And Torah Vodaath, if there's such a thing as a poster boy, not just for Torah Vodaath, but for Klal Yisrael, that you say, Yehei Shem Shemayim Esai Val Yudecha, Yaini was the poster boy for that concept.
Yaini came to me
And he said to me, Chaim, we really have to do something for our yeshiva. And he was there.
Yaini made me feel very, very comfortable. It was just a loving human being. It was a gewaldige schus and pleasure to work together with him.
I'm just proud to say that I had the privilege of being able to be called one of his friends.
I miss seeing him and feeling that warmth, feeling that smile, that wonderful sense of envelopment of the love of Uncle Yaini. And it's something that I always took for granted, but it's sorely missed. And I still can't believe that I'm not going to feel that again.
That you make it no one's gonna want to ever wear.
Hey son, you go back to the logic. Oh, so you swore. And the quarter of money, it means or he gives a quarter of the money.
All my three boys, Zisha, Moshe, and Gedalia, have been Talmidim in the yeshiva from as many of you have heard me say at the annual Malava Malka, from K to K, from kindergarten to Kailu. And I think they too would say that everything they are is Torah Vodaath.
Chula v'vris yachat nase v'nishma amru ke'echad upaschu v'yanu Hashem echad Baruch Hanoi Sain Layoif Koyach
Chula v'vris yachat nase v'nishma amru ke'echad upaschu v'yanu Hashem echad Baruch Hanoi Sain Layoif Koyach Ayoin Amatzah Vaymanayach Ayoin Amatzah Vaymanayach V'sham Yanuchu Yigiyechayach Ayoin Amatzah Vaymanayach Ayoin Amatzah Vaymanayach V'sham Yanuchu Yigiyechayach Ayoin Amatzah
Reina Mashgiach Shlita.
Rabbi sei, wir sind sich ein zusammengekommen zum Mekazisch sein, der Mechina, euer Jaina, der Schmei und der Sichrei von dem unvergessenen Tzadik, Rabbi Jaina Meir Belummenfrucht, Allah Bashalom. Yirmiyahu Hanavi sagt zum Klau und zum Prat, Yefei Zayes Ranon, Yefei Pri Toya, Kara Hashem Shemecha. A Zayes, a olive tree, is Gseider frisch. Als wir Chazal sagen, Ma Zayes ein Olive Neishren, Loi bi Meisa Chama, Loi bi Meisa Kshamim. A Zayes, die grüne Blätter von dem Zayes, bleiben grün und frisch, Sommer und Winter. Das ist gewesen, Jaina. Ist gewesen an Nebetz in dem Rabbinischen Leilem, mit Frischkeit, a gseiderdicke Frischkeit, eibig gereit, zu helfen a Jid, a Nitzrach, a Meisad, frisch zum Bechazig sein, a schwer Gemüt, frisch zu herunterkeikeln a Stein, von a Jidisch Herz. Sein speziellen süßen Schmeichel ist Gseider gewesen frisch, zum Bechazig sein, zu ermutigen, an anweitigte Nefesh. A Schmeichel, was sich nicht abgetan, Leibi Meisa Chama, Leibi Meisa Kshamim, in alle Umständen, in welchen Maße Jaina hat sich gefunden, aber von seinem Panem hat geleuchten Freundschaft, Simche, Lichtigkeit und Chizuk. Als zerbrochenem Nefesh ist weggegangen von ihm mit der Schmeichel auf sein Panem. Jaini, lass sich nicht vergessen, ist der Zayes Ranon. Wir können ihn nicht vergessen. Dem Zayes, Rabbi Yossi Yaimer, ein Schickele Seisen. A Zayes wie Jaini, lasst sich nicht vergessen. Jaini fällt uns Seis. Es ist jetzt, wir wollen sich treisten, es wird jetzt eine Schanich ermeißet auf sein Schmei, auf sein Namen. Die Talmiden wollen erzeugen werden, Leut sein Geist, zu sein als solche Jiden, als solche teure, süßen Jiden, als wie Jaini, Allah Bashalom, ist gewesen. Die Gemara sagt, Araya tes pachalaimai, simen yafelai. Als man sagt, dem Eis tes, in Chalem mit das ein guter Simen, weil der erste tes in der Teure ist ein guter Wort. Bei Yara Lakim ist euer Ki Toiv. Steht in Sfarim Agadaishim, der tes ist ein Eis von Emes. In Mispakaten ist Emes bei Gematria Tes. Emes ist Nitzchies, der Hyper von Sheker, was hält sich nicht. Swas Emes, Tikain Laad, Emes ist Netzach. Heintiger Deier feiert 99 Jahre von Torah Vodaath. 99. Zweimal Tes. Tes ist Netzach. Zweimal Tes. ist Netzach Netzachen. Teure Bedasa Takiyam, es ist Nesiaset geworden durch Anshe Emes, durch Tzadikim, also wie Reb Feiber Mendelowitsch, Zechayne Lebreche, Reb Benjamin Wilhelm, Zechayne Lebreche, und andere Asalche, mit der Kabana des Shem Shemayim, a Kabana von Emes. Und Emes ist der Jeseit von Teure Bedas. Wenn Reb Feiber Mendelowitsch hat gehalten bei seinem Ptire, hat gebeten, als in die Yeshiva Teure Bedas so keiner nicht verloren werden, das Pintale Emes. Vahi Avram ben Tishim Shana, Beteshe Shanim, hat damals bekommen die Mitzvah von Mila. Wenn ist gewesen 99 Jahre alt. Und ist aufgefrischt geworden. Ist nicht ständig geworden. Mit der Nahe Hischatschus. Ist geworden der erste Jid. Es ist Nesiaset geworden, das jüdische Volk. Und damals, wenn es geworden 99 Jahre alt, und hat sich Maler gewöhnt und geworden ein Jid, ist ihm zugegeben geworden, ein Namen zu sein, ein Heisafer zu sein Namen. Lai Abraham Yekare Shemcha, Kiyem Abraham. Ein Heisafer zu sein Namen. Teure Bedas ist erst geworden 99 Jahre alt. Und es ist eine Yeshiva von Redeuer, Bedeuer oder Neizach, Netzachen. Der Kayach Akiyam, was ist Mechazik, die Auffrischung und der Yaisafa zu seinem Namen, ist Messias Nefesh. Und Teure Bedas wird ein Beneit und bekommt einen neuen Namen. Ahisafe zu Teure Bedas. Mechina euer Jaina. Die Mechina soll sein an der Chame zu sein Isha miyait chashuva maras Blumenfrucht techje. Die Lebensbegleiterin von ihr greisen Mann haben wir neuer sich eine Brache. Sie ist allemal gewesen bei seiner rechten Hand in alle seine Unternehmungen und alle seine heilige Peuleis, der Teibes Aklal und der Teibes Ayachet. In die schwere Chadashim von seinem Machle hat sie ihm bedient mit überfließender Treuheit und Übergegebenheit. Und neu jetzt ist die Mamschech, dem Jeseit von Chesed und Tzedaka, leid dem Geist von der Geheibe der Mischpache. So sie gefunden an der Chame mit ihren teuren Kindern in eine Klacht. An der Chame in euer Jaina, und naches nariches Jamme mit der Bries Aschleime bei der Chaime und mit allen Jiden zusammen seien nach Hamas Yisrael.
Thanks to you, an unprecedented $3.5 million were raised in commitments. Lilu Nishmas, Rabbi Yaina May ben Chaim Alexander Ziskin to help the yeshiva. And now, please watch the trailer of our centennial celebration. Thank you, everybody. You've been a tremendous audience. Dessert is being served, and we'd like to be mechabed Rabbi Yisrael Blumenfrucht with benching. A gute Nacht.
We did it.